Hello and welcome back to Magic Knight Rayearth, where we're going to be going through a whole bunch of diary entries. Yep, I'm going to be quiet.
My school went to the Tokyo Tower today on a field trip. The observation deck was so high, and everything below looked so tiny. Is it corny that I was excited about going there? Out of nowhere, a flash lit up the sky, and when I blinked, I was floating over a magical world called Sephiroth, along with Umi and Fu, two girls I had just met. Then, a boy named Clef told us of our destiny as Magic Knights. I'm confused but excited. Another strange thing happened. This evil woman named Alcyone attacked us, and when I went to attack her, I suddenly had command of this fiery magic blast. I was surprised, but I think Alcyone was blown away, literally. Anyway, I worry about Clef. But like Fu said, we have to keep moving forward, for Clef's sake. I met a long-eared creature named Mokona in a huge mansion in the forest. What a cutie! We became fast friends. We also met Prisia, who told us to find something called a scudo at the Eterna Spring. Since we have no choice, I guess that's what we're doing. We met a wild-looking boy in the Forest of Silence. He says his name is Ferio, and he offered to accompany us for our protection. Umi and Fu didn't like the idea, but I thought he seemed nice enough, and we definitely needed the help. Of course I won, and Ferio is now traveling with us. When we left the Forest of Silence, Alcyone showed up again. Umi called on her magic ability to drive her away, and Fu used her magic ability to heal the injuries Ferio got in the fight. All we have to do now is make a mad dash for the Spring of Eterna. When we got to the spring, I saw Flash, but something was wrong because he tried to attack me. At first I was frightened because I thought he didn't recognize me anymore, but then I realized he was some kind of evil beast that took Flash's form. I wish I could see my dog for real. I miss him so much. Prisia made us weapons out of a scudo. What's better yet, Mokona is coming along with us. I'm so happy that Mokona's coming. I'm really getting attached. Leaving will be sad. But I guess that's a long way off. I'd better just keep my focus on this quest. When we reached Palizu, the mayor of the village begged us to slay a monster in a nearby cave. His plea was so sincere and his face was so sad that I had to agree. I guess we're off to kill a monster. We did it! The monster in the cave is ancient history. Even though we destroyed the giant spider, we gave the credit to Lucchino because he's the one the people have trusted to protect the village. Now that the people feel safe, things are returning to normal in Palizu. We reached the seaside village of Taflon and found out the ocean was filled with giant whirlpools. So much for swimming. We also met a nice girl named Sarah. The villagers treat her like an outcast. I wish they were kinder to her. She has a gentle soul. We found a man named Countess, who is supposed to be a master of powerful swimming techniques. But he was in some kind of funk and wouldn't teach us anything. Pooh. I hope he snaps out of it soon, so he can teach us what we need to know to avoid the whirlpools. Countess seemed to have regained some cheer. He even taught us how to swim well enough to avoid the whirlpools. We can at last press onto the iceberg where the machines are said to be. I hope we're almost done. This quest is exciting, but I want to go home. Zagot sent a guy named Ascot to make trouble for us. He came to the village and used his magic to turn Jimny into a huge creature that attacked us. It was terrible. I feel so bad for Sarah. She invested all her love in that pet, and now... There was nothing I could do to save Jimny. Poor Sarah. We just arrived at a place called Rosen. Amazingly, Ferio was there playing a flute near the entrance. I was happy to see him, but Fu was a little rude. I wonder why she gives him such a hard time. While staying at a hotel, Umi woke me up in the middle of the night and called me to the window. We saw people walking around outside in the freezing cold. We couldn't figure out where they were going, so we'll ask the hotel owner. We found a suspicious cave in the snow. When we entered, we discovered Ferio inside. He offered to help us, but Fu protested. What is her problem? Apparently, Caldina was the one who controlled the village men. She made them work on building the cave. It makes me sick that she has this kind of power. I bet say God is behind it too. I'll do my best to help the villagers break free from her magic. I managed to make Caldina disappear. It seems that Ferio has been following her for some time, since she was acting suspiciously and not dressed for the weather at all. I just hope Fu has had time to patch things up with Ferio. I think they make a cute couple. A staffer at the hotel told me that I should visit Rafarga at the outskirts of Rosen. There was a big snowstorm, and the door of his house was frozen fast. I guess it doesn't bother him, though. He just smashes through the thick layer of ice with his body. Man, he's tough. I finally learned the crashing technique that Rafarga taught us. Just when I thought I'd never master it, I heard Umi scream and forgot myself for a moment. When I lost my fear for that instant, I was distracted and I did it! I can't believe Rafarga was a bodyguard for Princess Emerald. After we passed through the underground cave, we ended up in a village on fire. In fact, some of the houses still had children in them. We had to go in and save them. We found out that Alcyone was the one who set the village on fire. Fortunately, we managed to defeat her and save the children in the burning house. I was surprised at how hard Umi fought against Alcyone. Maybe I don't know her as well as I thought. The healing magic has not been effective at all in the village of Lyri. They say only the leaves of the Tree of Life near the village can cure them. We're going to try to get the leaves then. Wish me luck, diary! A small kid who was leaving the hospital was injured today. Later, we met Abner, who raced Umi around the village. When Umi lost the race, she looked so disappointed. I reached the Tree of Life, but found it was apparently dead and had only one leaf left. I wonder how this happened. Anyway, I guess it's most important to get the remaining leaf back to the hospital. I told Abner why I needed him to teach us the dash technique, and he laughed and said he'd get the leaf himself. The stupid kid is going to get himself killed. I met a boy named Alto at the Tree of Life. He seemed nice enough and said he wanted to join us. I think he has some hidden reason for coming along with us. But if he gets in trouble, I'll still rescue him. I mean, he is a cutie. Alcyone was waiting at the top of the Tree of Life. She was babbling things that didn't make any sense, and Alto has started acting weirder. It's all so very tiring. Abner's fallen in love with a pretty nurse in the hospital of Lyri. Umi surprised me by giving the leaf from the Tree of Life to Abner and having him tell the nurse that he got it, just to impress her. Maybe Umi really is kind at heart. Alto asked to come along again. He isn't really clear as to why he wants to come, but I think he has some kind of secret task. Umi and Fu are against it, but I decided to let him. I think he's okay. Alto surprised me by destroying some boulders that were blocking the path by the waterfall. But as we were crossing the bridge, Caldina showed up and destroyed it, knocking us out and dropping us into the water. We washed up in a dark and damp cave behind the waterfall. Ask God. For us. This adventure is getting really confusing. Laquia is a quiet village by the lake. Well, it used to be quiet. Now they're plagued by monsters at night. There's a boy here named Nero whose mother was hurt in one of the attacks. I hope she gets better, because her boy seems really nice. Nero's father let us spend the night at his house, and sure enough, the monster showed up. They wandered the village for a while, making a mess of everything, and returned to the lake. Nero went after them, and we're going after Nero before he gets hurt. When we reached the island, we had a big surprise waiting. The island itself started moving. In fact, we discovered that the island isn't an island at all, but a huge turtle-like creature. Ah! Where are you, Scully? This place is a gold mine for you. It turns out that the giant turtle in the lake wasn't evil at all. It just wanted to wash all the sediment off its back. I can't really blame it. The best part about this encounter is the fact that the giant turtle agreed to take us to the Sky Garden on its back. It was neat to ride the giant turtle into the air, but it was breathtaking to see the Sky Garden up close. The village is so big. It seems like it should fall from the sky, but it doesn't. Once we got there, I asked the caretaker to see the bird statue, but he said no. I'll keep trying. Someone stole the key to the cloud maze while we were sleeping at the inn. We don't stand a chance of getting to the bird statue without going through the cloud maze. We have to get the key back. We got into the room where the key was stolen and found a clue. It was a footprint by the fireplace. Our resident sleuth, Fu, deduced the thief must have come through the chimney and took off their shoes before entering the room. When we climbed up the chimney, we found Ferrio's flute on the roof. Rafarga told us that we should wait in front of the cloud maze for the thief to appear. While we were waiting, Ferrio appeared and used the key to get into the maze. I'm shocked. Is Ferrio really the thief? I hope not. It seems like a nightmare, but Rafarga is now working for Zagat. I tried to call him back, but Rafarga just grabbed his head and started groaning in pain. This mind control is terrible. First Ferrio is controlled by Alcyone, and now Rafarga is controlled by Zagat. It has to be stopped. When we defeated the monster Alcyone summoned, Fu's magic knight came out of the ground. We went down the hole left by the magic knight to try to save Rafarga. Oh, Rafarga. I hope he's still alive. Rafarga was all right. The only thing still affecting him is his loss of memory. A medicine man that has been taking care of Rafarga says that a leaf from the Tree of Life should restore his memory. We need to return to Lyria and get the leaf from the hospital. We returned to the hospital in Lyria and got the medicine from Althena to help Rafarga. Now that we have it, we'd better get it to him right away. Innova gave Rafarga new armor, and now he's turned on us again. After all that work to get his memory back, we're back to square one. What are we going to do? I'm a little bummed. Oh, Rafarga, why'd it have to turn out like this? I swear I'll make Innova pay. We arrived at Palizu and saw a nearby volcano erupting. It seems like Emerald's abduction is now affecting the natural balance of Sephiroth in quite obvious ways. We have to rescue her before everything is destroyed. We found this huge lion in the volcano. I wonder if this is my machine. Before we could find out, Alcyone appeared. She's still suffering from our last time around. If she's not healed soon, I think she'll die. We've had a fun time, but it's also been sad. All I can say for certain is that we have to remember our experiences. It seems like we're soon to finally finish our quest to become Magic Knights. I'm so happy we found Precia is still okay. She told us that if we go to the Cape and summon the 3 machines, Zagat's palace will appear. We're almost there, and I'm a little frightened. The Cape of Legend was the same place we met Clef when we dropped into this crazy place and he was turned to stone. But if I defeat Innova, I think we may be able to finally remove the spell. After we defeated Innova, we went back to Clef. Everyone was there to show support for us. I was so happy. I just wish Rafarga, Ascot, Caldina, and Alcyone could have been there as well.
Hikaru isn't the only one who can keep a diary. I decided to keep one too. That way, everything won't be filtered by her alone if someone ends up reading about this weird trip we're on. Hikaru somehow called up a kind of fire magic and defeated an evil woman who was after us. It was very cool, and I'm kind of jealous. I wonder if I'll ever get something like that. If only Hikaru got magic, it wouldn't be fair. I finally met Prisia. She told us to travel to the Eterna Spring using some loner weapons. The freaky part is that she says there are tons of monsters along the way. But Hikaru seems to be looking forward to it, and Fu doesn't seem upset, so I'll try to keep my cool. I wish I didn't worry so much. We met a crazy-looking boy in the Forest of Silence. He has wild eyes, and I don't trust him. After jumping out of a tree and scaring us half to death, he offered to guide us through the forest. Fu and me both said no way, but Hikaru immediately went gaga for him and took him up on his offer. Man, she's getting on my nerves. I thought Hikaru had eyes for Furio, but now I'm certain that it's Fu that has the gaga eyes for him. When he knelt and kissed Fu's hand, I'm positive Fu blushed. We don't have time for romance. This is gonna be a problem. I can feel it. I had the weirdest experience. What appeared to be my mother and father tried to attack and kill me. But I soon realized it was a clever trick. Fortunately, Princess Emerald helped me to survive. Hikaru and Fu had some kind of weird experience too. After it all though, we managed to get the escudo. We all have our weapons of escudo now. Prisia told us to develop the weapons and unleash our hidden powers. Makona is supposed to guide us. Personally, I think Hikaru's already too attached to him. Besides, that fluffball is nothing but a self-centered attention-sucking rat, if you ask me. Hikaru agreed to kill a giant monster in a cave near Palizu. I wonder if we really have the time to do something that risky. I thought we were supposed to be headed for the sea to find the first machine. But that's wishful thinking because Hikaru always gets her way. This wizard named Lucino made all sorts of trouble for us when we tried to destroy the monster in the cave. But we did manage to find and defeat the monster anyway. The goofy part is that Hikaru gave all the credit for defeating the monster to Lucino. I can't figure her out sometimes. Sarah says Jimny is a quiet creature, but anyone would be considered quiet compared to that chatterbox Mokona. The thing just won't shut up. Anyway, the villagers treat Sarah badly, but I'm not sure why. I think maybe they're just frightened of any outsiders in this dangerous time. Oh my god. What kind of freak is this Keltis guy we just met? I mean, we all have baggage, but this guy is an emotional wasteland. He makes Morrissey seem cheerful. Besides, Sarah has already gotten over the past, so why can't he? I'm sorry, I just have to say it. What a crybaby. Shock of shocks, Keltis changed his tune and brightened up. Actually, when he's cheerful, he's a pretty cool guy. Perhaps I was a little hard on him at first. Shock of shocks. Big news today. Really big. One of Zagat's thugs, a fat kid named Ascot, turned Sarah's pet into a massive monster. That's one powerful kid. We were attacked and nearly killed by the thing he made out of Jimny. Definitely not fun. Now that we've made Sarah sad, I feel just like Keltis. When he was down, I yelled at him. Now I understand how he felt. I'm a jerk sometimes. My resolution is to try to be more understanding. We ran into Ferio in the snowy village of Rosen. Fu was mean to him, but only because she secretly likes him. You see, he was playing his flute for other girls, not her. I wish she'd just admit that he melts her butter and get it over with. A sound during the night woke me up. I went to the window and saw lots of men going somewhere outside, but I couldn't tell where they were headed. What's going on in this frozen freak show? I must know! Oh well, maybe we'll find out soon. Hikaru promised to ask the hotel staff. I am so upset with Fu. She shouldn't have said such hurtful things to Ferio. I mean, I understand how she feels. She obviously likes him, but she doesn't know what to do with her feelings. Poor Ferio. Ferio headed into the cave to fight Caldina, who was manipulating the villagers. I need to make Ferio look good so he and Fu will make up. Jeez, those two sure make me work hard. Watching Fu and Ferio's relationship is really getting on my nerves. Fu finally patched things up with him, but now Ferio is too shy to tell her how he really feels about her. Talk about lame. I wish they'd just kick this into high gear. We have a job to do here. I've sure met a lot of weirdos since arriving on Sephiroth. Add one more to the list. There's a man here named Rafarga that bashes his body into the door to his house because it keeps freezing shut. Is this normal behavior? Maybe for a mental case. I know that Hikaru considers all living things our friends, even bugs. Unfortunately, I don't subscribe to the same thinking. In fact, the reason Hikaru finally mastered the crashing technique is because of me. Huh! Imagine that! We are in big trouble. We came out of the underground passage and into a sea of fire. Sephiroth is a mysterious place, but this is much too weird to happen here naturally. I'd bet my shoe collection that Zegat is somehow behind this arson. The evil woman we met when we first came here was the one who set the fire in Ai. Bitch! I was so mad that she put those innocent children in danger. Now those poor villagers have no shelter for their families. Zegat must die. There's a huge hospital in the village of Lyri. They use a leaf from a tree nearby to heal their patients. Doesn't that sound fantastic? I thought so. Anyway, we're off to try to get some of the leaves for the sick villagers. I am not in the mood to write anything today. I know the skill Abner has is what we need to get into the Tree of Life, but I don't want to beg him to show me. Unfortunately, without the skill, I don't think we can get the leaf from the tree. So, I really have no choice. Ugh. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that brat Abner. We went to ask him to show us the dash technique and he laughed in our faces. Worse yet, he said he'd get the leaf himself and took off for the tree. His friends are worried and asked us to help him. I'm gonna squish that stupid turd. We met a boy named Alto at the Tree of Life. He says he didn't see anyone else. I wonder where that brat Abner is then. He'd better be sneaking about because if the monsters here find him, that featherweight pipsqueak is dead meat. That fool Abner was defeated by Alcyone. Now we have to come in and clean up his mess to get the leaf from the Tree of Life. I wonder why Abner has such a serious look. Is he just frightened? I hope that's it because it's freaking me out. Abner is trying very hard to impress a nurse in the hospital. I felt kinda sorry for him, so I gave him the leaf we got from the Tree of Life and told him to say he got it for her. I hope this doesn't give Hikaru and Fu the wrong idea about me. I wonder why Hikaru is letting a little kid come with us. Alto is not gonna be anything but a drag on our resources. She promises he's her responsibility though, so there's not much else I can say. Alcyone and Caldina showed up again and babbled some gobbledygook. Then Caldina blew up the bridge. She's really getting on my nerves. Alto was really Ascot, the one who cast the terrible magic on Sarah's pet. But I hope he's really a good boy, just misled by Zegat's evil. Perhaps we should forgive him for his past. Our weapons and our magic combined couldn't even touch Unova. The amount of power he showed made me a little afraid. The really scary part is that I know Zegat is much stronger than Unova. We met a boy named Nero who wants to be a magic knight. Since we're still in training, I can't even believe that. We shouldn't say much, but Hikaru spilled the beans and told him everything. We finally saw the monsters from the lake firsthand. Nero somehow thought he'd get revenge for what they did to his mother and ran off to the lake behind them. That crazy kid is gonna get himself killed. Somehow, I feel responsible. I just don't know why. When the villagers told me the island floated around the lake, I thought it might be possible. But now that we found out the island is alive, I'm pretty freaked out. Maybe Fu can calm me down. Hikaru confirmed again today that she is a great leader. Using Mokona, she communicated with the giant turtle in the lake and convinced it to fly us to the Sky Garden. I should be jealous, but I'm not. Maybe I'm growing up. Even though we asked him repeatedly, the caretaker of the Sky Garden refused to let us see the bird statue. I was really starting to get steamed. But Fu calmed me down a little. Hikaru decided to leave and come back tomorrow, hoping he'd change his mind. I don't think he will. I can't believe that the villagers are accusing us of stealing the key. I mean, we need to get to the bird statue, but not badly enough to steal for it. What kind of people do they think we are? Sheesh. Anyway, we'd better find the real thief. Since I arrived in Sephiroth, I've experienced many firsts, and today was no different. We climbed up a chimney today. Even though it was pretty messy, it paid off big. We found a clue. But I wonder if Fario really is the thief. I find that hard to believe. It felt like we were in some kind of TV show when we were waiting to catch the thief at the Maze of Clouds. But now, it seems like some kind of nightmare. I feel so bad for Fu. Why did Fario have to do something like this? Alcyone is such a bad sport. She can't even lose gracefully. But that shouldn't be any surprise, I guess. Poor Rafarga. At least Fario is all right now. I guess we can take small comfort in that. We put Alcyone's monster to rest. I hope that teaches her some humility. After we defeated the monster, Fu's Magic Knight was awakened. That was cool, I must admit. Now we only have one more Magic Knight to find. I remember the villagers saying that the leaf from the Tree of Life can heal any illness. But will it really cure Rafarga of his amnesia? I hope so. The only thing left to do is to go back to Lyria and hope there's enough medicine left to cure him. We asked Athena for the medicine to help Rafarga, and she was nice enough to give it to us without hesitation. I think she knows that we really got the leaf from the tree and not Abner. I think things are pretty messed up with Zagat and his henchmen. In fact, Alcyone was hurt pretty badly in our last encounter. I wonder if she's all right. Wait, what am I thinking? I should be more worried about poor Rafarga. Rafarga finally returned to normal, but only just before the end. Hikaru is so depressed. Actually, all three of us are down. We have to cheer up. For Rafarga. Ah! Today a volcano erupted. The end of Sephiroth must be close. We have to get to Princess Emerald before it's too late to save this place. Wait! The village of Palizu is near the volcano. I hope everything's all right there. I can't believe that Alcyone hasn't had Zagat heal her yet. She's gotta be close to dying. Maybe she was delirious, but she was saying some things that made no sense at all. So many things are happening that if I didn't have Hikaru and Fu with me, I think I'd go insane. I have to remember to thank them. I hope they don't think that's too gushy. As we get closer to the fight with Zagat, I think more and more about our first adventure in the Forest of Silence. I sorta wish we were back there. Though I've learned a lot since then, I'm afraid I don't know enough to defeat Zagat. Since we were able to talk to Clef during our adventure, I had no idea he was turned to stone. Just looking at him makes me want to cry. But I suppose if we defeat Zagat, we can break the spell. After we defeated Unova, all the friends we've made along the way got together to show their support. I'm so happy to know that we've made this many friends. We must defeat Zagat and save Sephiroth.
Hikaru's leadership has inspired me to keep a journal of this adventure. I thought I would write down some basic observations about this world they call Sephro, but it seems like I don't have enough room here to write enough to matter. Oh well, perhaps later. Hikaru used a sort of flaming elemental blast to dispose of a woman who attacked Clef and then sought to destroy us. I wonder how the fire magic actually works. Oh well, this world is full of mysteries. A kind girl named Precia provided us with weapons to protect ourselves as we set out to retrieve some mineral called a scudo. The power this mineral has is really beyond my comprehension. But then again, so are many things I've seen thus far. I suppose I've no choice but to go along for the ride. We met a boy in the woods called Vario that offered to accompany us through the forest. We seemed to be doing fine, so Umi and I said no, but he seems to be following us anyway. I wonder what Hikaru said to him. Vario risked his own life to shield me from Alcyon's magic. Needless to say, I'm a little flushed just thinking about it. He actually ended up getting hurt on my account. What a hunk. I wonder if this is romance novel love or the real thing. In fact, I wonder how I'd know. My head hurts. I had the most peculiar experience. It seems that when we made it to the spring, Umi, Hikaru, and I entered into some kind of bizarre dreams. In mine, I was attacked by an evil doppelganger. Fortunately, we all managed to overcome the trial and get the escudo. I don't know if I can keep this up. Now that Precia has crafted the weapons of escudo for us, we are to build them with the strength of our minds. Reportedly, that is the key to unleashing the ancient machines. It's a big task, but I think we'll all do our best. I believe the best way to increase our mind power and the strength of our weapons is to help those in trouble. Hikaru obviously feels the same way because she's volunteered to help the people of Polizu. Though we encountered many obstacles in the cave, we managed to overcome the monster. Once we returned to the village, Hikaru gave all the credit to this old wizard named Lucino. My respect for her is growing as this adventure continues. I wonder if it's really necessary to visit the iceberg to find our machines. Being that I cannot swim to save my life, I'm a little apprehensive about it. Well, actually, I'm terrified. Maybe I'll take 2 life vests. We found a man named Caltus who was depressed quite severely. It seems that he couldn't save a pet that Sarah used to have. Umi was not very understanding and kind of blew up. I thought she overreacted, but I really didn't know what to say. Sometimes I feel so weak. I'm completely humiliated. Hikaru and Umi have already mastered Caltus' new swimming technique, but not me, no. I have to use a stupid little float. It's kind of fun to use, but it makes me feel like a baby. Oh well, no time to whine, I suppose. Onward and upward. Sarah's pet was made to grow abnormally large and attack us today. I heard that Zegat had it done by a guy named Ascot. I'm certain Sarah's now beside herself. Poor girl. The end of this chapter in our adventure was a very painful one. We went to apologize to Sarah for it, but she wouldn't forgive us. I understand how she feels. Caltus will take care of her until she recovers from the shock. I'm happy for that. At least she has someone. The village of Rosen has a very cold climate and strong winds. The people here say that it used to be quite different. I wonder what made the weather here change so drastically. Oh well, nothing else of note happened. I was just entering a deep REM sleep when Umi woke me up suddenly. She took me to the window where I saw lots of men from the village sneaking out of their houses and congregating somewhere out of sight. I wonder if Feria was with them. Something must be terribly wrong with me. I don't seem to have control of my emotions anymore. It's very disconcerting. I don't like it one bit. We went into the cave to do battle with Caldina, who was sent here by Zagat. Now Ferio's behavior makes perfect sense, and I feel like a heel. I have to apologize to him as soon as possible. I just hope it's not too late. Now that Caldina is history, the men in the village seem to be back to normal. That means they can give me all the answers about this place that have been bugging me. I think I'm going to be very busy. At first, Rafarga was reluctant to teach us his door crashing method, but after we told him why we desperately needed to learn it, he relented. Even though I've now learned it, I'm still not very good. Oh well, thankfully I have Hikaru and Umi to pick up the slack. When I woke up this morning, Hikaru had mastered the crash technique. Apparently, she stayed up late last night to practice until she could do it. I really admire her dedication. I'll have to ask her how she managed to finally learn it. Hikaru finally managed to teach Umi and I the crash technique, which allowed us to enter the underground passage. But when we came out the other side, did we get an eyeful? The whole village of Ai was on fire. It was horrid. We managed to defeat Alcyon and rescue the children. But I can't rid myself of the feeling that she set this fire on purpose to lead us to some untimely end. I feel so sad that we may be responsible for the fire that destroyed these poor people's homes. If my magic could cure all disease, I would use it until I perished. Unfortunately, it only seems to be good for minor wounds. There are a lot of very sick people in Leary, so we're off to find some leaves they claim can cure them of their ailments. I watched a race between Umi and a boy in the village of Leary today. At the start, I think Umi was faster, but the kids here have a dash technique that the boy used. Needless to say, he left Umi in the dust. I believe it bruised her ego. Perhaps I should try to cheer her up. We can use the crash technique to advance, but we also need the dash technique to build up enough speed in the short space available. We must return to the village and ask Abner to show us the dash if we are to conquer the Tree of Life. I find Abner to be quite unpredictable. In fact, I can't decide what he'll do next. Umi is in fits over his flippant attitude, but I think it just shows his immaturity. Anyway, he took off for the tree. We better go catch up with him. I think this boy we met named Alto is hiding something. We met him at the top of the Tree of Life, and he offered to go with us. I can't put my finger on it, but he makes me nervous. The interior of the Tree of Life was hollow. It appeared to be consumed by some kind of termite-like creatures. I'm fairly certain this is the cause of the tree's illness. Alcyon used the bugs to attack us. Ooh! We found out why Abner was so eager to get the leaf from the tree. It seems as if he's infatuated with a pretty nurse in Leary. He wanted to get the leaf to impress her. Even though Umi is putting on a brave face, I think she's a little disappointed he doesn't fancy her instead. I'm still a little confused from our last battle with Alcyon. She said something about Alto's strong magic power, but I could have just heard her wrong. Anyway, Hikaru let Alto come along with us. Hopefully she doesn't regret the decision, for all our sakes. Caldina destroyed a bridge we were standing on, spilling us into the water. We all woke up in a hidden cave behind the waterfall. I think the cave might lead to the other side of the pass anyway. I believe we should go forward. Now it all makes perfect sense. Alto and Ascot are one and the same. This discovery does raise some troubling questions about Alto's motives, I'm afraid. Innova cannot have a heart in the human sense. He killed his own without even flinching. I think he's pure evil. Monsters reside within the lake next to Liquido, they say. The village is romantic enough, but these hideous things are making a mess of the place every night. We have to try to find a way to stop this insanity. I'm afraid that Nero may have gotten himself in over his head. After the beasts had returned to the lake, he ran after them to avenge the hurt they had caused his mother. We have to find him before he gets seriously hurt. Umi seems worried as well. I believe that it was physically possible for the island to float. However, I never would have imagined it was possible for the island itself to be a huge creature. All I can think about is poor Nero. We'd better find him as soon as possible. The beast in the lake looks like a huge turtle with wing-like flaps on the sides. Hikaru managed to communicate with it well enough to convince it to fly us to the Sky Garden. It was quite an impressive conversation to behold. The caretaker of the Sky Garden is a very cautious man. Since he rightly views us as strangers, he refused to let us see the treasure of the village, the bird statue. I feel that all we can do is keep asking him until he relents. The most direct means of proving our innocence is no doubt to catch the real thief. However, to find the thief, we need to examine the crime scene, and that will be a challenge. Just for the record, I'm frightening myself because I'm getting so good at breaking out of confinement. Oh, I hope I'm not destined to become a felon. I'm still in shock. Why was Ferrio's flute on the rooftop? Was he really the thief who climbed down the chimney? I don't want to believe it, but there is no choice but to get up the courage to ask Ferrio about it. There simply must be a rational explanation for Ferrio's behavior beyond the obvious one. I simply cannot believe that Ferrio is a common thief. Perhaps, if I catch up to him, I can get his side of the matter. As I suspected all along, Ferrio was controlled by Alcyone. Before he was released from her power, he tried to cleave me with the sword. It was frightening, I must admit. However, we're not out of the woods yet. Rafarga is now under Zagoth's control and is acting in an evil manner. My magic knight revealed itself to me. It is called Wyndham. I find it difficult to believe that such a huge creature resides inside a treasure amulet near my heart. Oh well, I suppose I'll get used to it. Anyway, we have to find one more magic knight and poor Rafarga. Rafarga seems to be suffering from amnesia. I believe it must have been brought on by the shock when he fell from the Sky Garden. If there's even a small chance that the medicine they have in the hospital in Leary can be effective, we must try to get it. Athena was kind enough to give us the medicine that will help Rafarga recover from his amnesia. It seems that Athena and Abner are also doing well, though I believe Athena rules the roost, so to speak. The medication Athena gave us seemed to be effective, but Rafarga had a relapse and ran off screaming and holding his head again. It's probably due to the armor Innova gave him. I think it gives Innova the ability to control Rafarga's mind. We destroyed the armor Innova had given Rafarga, which eliminated Innova's influence on him. However, Innova killed Rafarga rather than let him escape. How can he do such a thing? I'm in shock. We found Umi's machine Ceres in the sea, and my machine Wyndham in the sky. I believe that Hikaru's machine will be found in the volcano. Since we have no way to know where, however, we'll have to search the whole thing. Something has happened to Alcyone. The tone of our encounters has changed. Though she's standing before us, it seems like she's not even there. I wonder what's going on. Alcyon was finally defeated. For some reason, I can't stop thinking about it. Weird, huh? Anyway, we have all 3 machines now, so we must return to Precia as Clef instructed. We returned to Precia's mansion and found that she was still safe. She gave us detailed instructions on how to make Zagod's palace appear, so we're off to the Cape. It's strange, but I find myself wondering if Ferrio's all right. While we were examining the stone statue that used to be Clef, Innova suddenly appeared and transformed himself into this creepy beast. I'm glad this adventure is almost done. Due in no small part to Ferrio's efforts, we were able to defeat Innova. I'm so happy that we have the opportunity to assist the good people of Sephiroth. I just hope I don't let them down.
Master Zagod's water mirror has revealed that 3 have been summoned from the other world to become magic knights. If they dare to obstruct Master Zagod's path, I will obliterate them. Master Zagod's plan must come to fruition. Alcyon is such a pitiful excuse for a servant of glorious Master Zagod. She failed to even stumble the weak magic knights. Lord Zagod has dispatched Ascot to clean up her mess and terminate the children. My only concern is the legend, but I shan't let it bother me. Master Zagod seems to be quite upset lately. I believe it is because of the failed efforts by Ascot and Caldina to stop the magic knights. It is torturous to see him in this state. I shall therefore take this task upon myself. I finally encountered the magic knights today. Their laughable attacks and sword technique was no match for my superior power. Wise Master Zagod will be pleased with my report, I am certain. Perhaps he will even allow me to polish his boots. By decree of Lord Zagod, I captured the former head of Princess Emerald's guard. In his diabolical wisdom, Master Zagod has chosen to brainwash him by means of a special mind control armor. I am humbled by my master's brilliance. Caldina and Rafarga were of no use in stopping the magic knights. So I went out to pay personal attention to the matter. It seems as if their power has grown substantially since our last encounter. If we don't stop them soon... The power of the magic knights can be denied no longer. I have implored my dear master to allow me to return to my original form in order to guarantee my victory over them. Mark my words. Those girls will pay.
Okay, so that brings us back to current time when we come back. Close to the end. Have a good one, folks.